What is good, everybody? We are back. This is another episode of The Social Experiment. Happy New Year to everybody. I appreciate everybody for tuning in, liking, subscribing, and just viewing all of our episodes, man. We truly appreciate it. We are back with the homies.
Happy New Year's to you guys, for real.
New Year's, boys.
I hope you guys all have a blessed 2023. I hope all you guys accomplish your goals and you guys set new goals when you guys accomplish those and keep crushing it.
Let's get it. Let's get it. New Year.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Same me or new me?
A couple episodes back, we did interview Carlos and we gave you guys a little backstory on him, gave you guys where he came up from, his upbringing, all the way up into Breakout. We'd like to give you a little backstory now on Chris. Kind of just giving you guys a little info on each one of us. Let's start from here. Where are you originally from? Are you a California native? What's up? Like, where'd you grow up?
Yeah.
What hood you come from?
Born and raised in Cali, LA area, I guess. But okay. Oh, closer. Is this?
Yeah. Like
There you go.
Yeah.
Or can you see me or can you? Okay. Yeah, you can say I'm born and raised in California. Grew up in kind of Victorville, but I moved around a lot.
I did not know that. Sorry.
Yeah, in my earlier childhood life, I mainly stayed in Victorville for quite some time. One year, I was in Arizona when I was a kid, when my sister was born there. And then throughout the years, kind of moved around. I lived in Compton. I lived in Downey. I lived in Cudahy.
You feel me?
I kind of lived all over the place. It was until like...
Cudahy is a 2-block radius.
Yeah. It was like until like... I was in Linwood too, or Inglewood.
Órale, homes. Hell
Yeah, so you really have been across the map.
Yeah, I did a lot of moving when I was young because my dad wasn't really around, but my mother was kind of just like one of those single mothers, just kind of, doing the most for us, just putting a roof over our heads. We stayed with a lot of family members, with a lot of cousins, and then just one thing led to another till finally, I want to say second to third grade, I finally kind of established in Long Beach.
Yeah.
And ever since, kind of just been out here.
When did you start getting into shoes?
I guess my love for sneakers, or like my first encounter was when I lived in Victorville, was getting the first pair of Reebok pumps.
Ooh,
a black pair with the orange.
That was
pump.
a curveball.
Yeah, and I remember going to Barstow outlets, and my mom caught me the pair, and it was just like one of those instances like, yo, I fell in love with a shoe that was fire, that you can pump it, it tighten up, it like, I was like, oh, I can run fast. And like,
Yeah.
I've always been a fast little like stocky, agile kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna call it. No more short king.
And yeah, that was kind of like my first encounter with sneakers. Fast forward a couple years, I got into some Paul Pierce Nikes, Adidas Shell Toes, and yeah, just kind of it went through that phase. And then I remember seeing my cousin skating Osiris 3Ds or D3s, whatever.
D3.
And I just seen them on foot. I was like, whoa, what are those? And
Big ass shoes.
Etnies and just like skateboard, or what's it, World Industries, the skateboard company.
Yeah. I think they did have
Yeah.
shoes. That
So
like Globe.
He had definitely like a big influence on the skating style,
Mhm.
or like the whole like that kind of like, yeah, you can say that style towards
Yeah.
he brought. And then but fast forward back to like the Reebok pump, that was kind of like my first encounter with
With
sneakers.
shoes. So
And go for it.
no. So I remember we both went to Milligan High School, but you were
Yeah.
older than me. But
Yeah.
through our mutual friends, I always remember how all the guys used to say, you always used to be in Nike SBs.
That was kind of, it was middle school, high school.
Yeah.
The
So
SB,
that's
SB
just
love.
like always our topic of when we talk about you. You mind telling the people about, I mean, how did you get, first of all, into loving SBs? But aside of that, I really want you to tell the people that Blue Lob story.
Oh yeah, that Blue Lob stories.
So I guess it's
Yeah.
a 2-part question.
Yeah.
When did the Nike SB really like impact you as far as like the sneaker culture goes? And then I guess we'll roll into that SB story.
I guess the SB thing was like 05, 06.
Yeah.
But it was like the non-hype stuff. It was like the regimes, the trace, the Zoom tray, the Harbor. I'll drop a picture. I'll send one to Rob. My first sneaker was for SB was a Nike SB, I think. Regime Barbella. It's inspired by a movie of a dancer. It's like it has like a little girl in the back stitched on, and it has like her picture with like feathers falling down.
Yeah.
I laugh because these are all shoes that like people do not care about.
Yeah.
When people think of SBs, they think of Dunks.
Yeah.
So it's tight hearing people talk about these other models that that was the core of SB then.
Yeah, that people don't know that it wasn't really the Dunks. They were trying to push all these other models.
Yeah.
And I remember being heavily on NikeSB.org during like high school.
Yeah.
Like religiously, like this pair's coming out, I need this pair, or even just reading them on the background stories. SB does a lot of like stories behind it. It's not just a shoe that's just a colorway.
Of course.
There's a reason why that colorway's out. And I think it really started middle school, seeing pairs on feet like Jeremy Fish Classic SBs and
That's a good one.
P-Rod, like the Valentine's one, I think. And then just multiple pairs like that. And then one thing led to another. I think in high school, I think my first cop, like, or big cop was like, man, I'm trying to remember. For sure, the Blue Lobster is one of those big shoes. Like, that was 2009. That's more like fast forward. But
You
I
caught that in high school?
I copped that. I left.
Bro.
I ditched middle school, or I had finished up middle school. Or, no, not middle school. Summer school. So I was always that kid, like the average Joe, like, okay, I just got by.
Yeah.
And then, so I had to do a lot of summer school for like 2-3 years. And then, or night school. And then one day, summer school, 2008, I believe, or 2009 of July. I know I still have that receipt out there. I left school on my skateboard, like my little cruiser. I skated all the way or caught the bus home. And then I skated I rode my bike towards downtown Long Beach, which is East 4 skate shop. I called the guy. I was like, hey, you guys have an 8.5 blew up. He's like, yeah, we have one left. So I'm like just biking down there, like full adrenaline, just biking. And then I hit a car that's coming out the alleyway. So my knee hits this shit, like, and I flip over, like I'm tumbling over, and I get up and I just get on my bike, and then the couple comes out all like scared, and I feel bad. The dude's like has it like in one of those breathing machines that are like a big old tube with
yeah.
And he has it like to his nostrils, and the lady's like all shit in it, and he is too. They're like, are you okay? Do you want to take us to the hospital? I was like, nah, I gotta go. Like, I gotta go get these shoes. Like, I gotta dip. And then sure enough, like I just dipped, and I got to the skate shop. They're sold out. The guy's like, damn, they just sold. But Seams, our sister store, which is like
First and
where Proper was at, like First and like I think like I don't know, by Ocean and Broadway
and like Locust, I think it was, or Olive,
downtown area. And then so I just zoom it down there. I get into the shop. He's like, yeah, we have one 8.5 left. I'm like out of breath. I'm like,
he's like, do a kickflip.
nah, that was United Board Shop. But I get down. I sit down for someone like, can I try them on? I'm just trying to catch my breath.
Knee all fucked up.
It's all blown out.
Yeah, no, it wasn't injured till after I felt, a couple weeks after I felt that pain. But I tried it on. I'm like, cool, I'll take them. But I'm just trying them on, just trying to catch my breath.
Yeah.
And then I'm paying. And then I remember that being one of the first like expensive shoes I bought. It was like $165 after tax and all.
Yeah.
So I was like, but I didn't care. I needed it. I was like, I wanted it. I already had other SBs, but that was kind of like the shoe that like, yo, I need this. Like, I didn't get the red one. I couldn't get the red lobster for whatever reason. This is my chance to cop this one at retail.
Yeah.
And then fast forward a couple years later, I ended up copping like 3 more pairs.
Fire.
A couple pre-owned, a couple DS, and this is when the SB game was kind of like, it was still up, but it wasn't what it is now.
Yeah, of course.
None of those hold a story like that first one though.
Yeah.
Bro.
Nah, and that shoe stuck with me for the longest, and I don't know how I got rid of it or who I sold it to, but it's one of those things like I regret it. Like that shoe was just so clean.
Yeah.
So it has like that nostalgic story that it has to it.
Yeah.
And then
that couple was probably also relieved. They're like, damn,
yeah,
we got away with this one.
Yeah, we're good.
Hell yeah, bro. It's just crazy to me how like a pair of shoes could just hold so many memories, right?
Yeah, bro. And it's a couple of shoes out there like that I'm still hunting. I won't say the names because I don't want people to start buying them up or hitting me up like, yo, I got them, unless it's a steal. But it was
I got you, King.
It was nothing, never hype, bro. It was always like certain skate shoes like Lakai's, Americas, like things that I was into, certain Vans.
Yeah.
I remember my first Vans encounter was like my aunt taking me to the Vans store in Venice Beach. It was like some classics like checkered blue and white, and it was just clip go okay. It was just things like that was just like small little shoes that didn't have big hype, but to me like it's everything, like childhood memories, things that like that I have like something that I connect to. Like, I can remember like, oh, this shoe I was, I don't know, dating this chick or I was at this event, something like that.
I feel it. So how?
No. Go.
So when you were in high school, how are you making this money to acquire all these shoes? Were you like buying stuff?
Yeah.
Were you reselling your shoes and like flipping it?
I remember at one point in high school, I think it was my what is it? It's like MBA class. It was like
I was in
about the
MBA
stock
too.
market.
Yeah.
I was just on Flight Club looking at shoes, and then I was buying and reselling chocolates, like the 30-pack from Costco.
Yep.
So if you needed breakfast, like, yo, I got you on the Snickers. Like, you know, and at the end of the day, like, I would just sell the 2-for-1, the Babe Ruth.
Just to get them out.
Yeah,
just
Get
to
them out. Get them out. The Milky Way here. Go.
So that was one way I was funding money, and then there was like also another way that was kind of illegal. Like I was
Yeah.
selling dro. Like I was just
Yeah.
I was selling.
Say
Huh?
it, say
You were
it.
saying what?
Just
You were
say
saying.
it. Say it, bro.
What were you doing, bro?
I was selling
What
some
were you doing,
bud.
bro?
I was selling some bud.
Let's
I
go.
was selling
Let's go.
some pills.
Yeah, bro.
Like,
This
Bro,
man is. This man
I was hustling. I remember one day,
The Oompa Loompa was
my
for sure
homie,
on some
he put
wild
me on
shit.
deck, like with like I don't know, 28 grams. My first 28 grams, and I was just like sold out, like on 420. And then I copped I remember I copped Larry Perkins that week.
Fire.
I
Damn.
copped like I forgot what else. I broke him off his piece,
Mm-hmm.
and then like it was just one of those things. Like I bought that shoe. I always had like that paranoid mindset, like I can't do this forever, or I don't want to.
Yeah.
But I'll do it enough to where like I can get a shoe
Yeah.
and just flip that shoe and just keep it going. So sure enough, it turned into a hustle.
Were you ever like, yo, I want to like grab some of this shit, or were you always just
yeah,
strictly business with it?
There was shoes for sure that I kept. Like I remember hitting.
No, he's saying
I'm
the-
talking
the
about
weed.
I'm talking about the bud.
Nah, bro, it wasn't until like 11th grade that I first smoked like.
You're like,
weed
what the
or
fuck
bud.
is this shit I'm
Yeah.
selling?
Nah, like I was very, very business mind. Like I was like, I gotta get it all off. I can't. There's nothing personal, nothing fun. Till like probably like after 11th grade, that was when like I started fucking around with stuff.
Yeah.
And there was a party, and I know a lot of people know about
Oh
it.
my god.
Bro, I got
Say
so I
Go.
got so hammered. I was mixing I mixed alcohol with ecstasy, and man,
That'll
I
do
was balls out. Like
bro.
bro, I remember I woke up like in my shirt, butt ass naked, and I'm like touching my ass. He's like, okay, I'm good. No one touched me. No one violated me.
Is my asshole sore or what?
I probably pissed my pants. I think I did. And then I was like, I remember some white boys took me home, and they were just talking Spanish, giving me bread, bro. Like, here you go, bro, some bread. Like,
Where
this
were
is-
you?
bro.
This is on the west side of Long Beach.
Bro, I hear this story all the time, bro.
I remember I was in the house, and I was like, I remember at one point everything just felt like just melting. I was like, oh shit.
Is the west side of Long Beach like the west side of Hollywood?
No, it's
Nah, it's hood.
it's hood, but it was.
Some parts.
But I was amongst homies.
Yeah.
But everyone was like laughing, not with me, probably at me for sure. And to this day, everyone will tell you a different story. And then I remember hopping a fence, and then they're trying to get me. I'm like, fuck that. You're not going to get me. So I'm like,
So the homies is trying to get him, bro.
Yeah.
Because this was like
Wilding out, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So this one starts running away from the homies.
Were you naked at this point, or
Nah,
it's
this-
still fully
bro.
clothed?
No, this is
I
after the
got
white
home-
boys picked him
I
up.
got home perfect, bro. And
Yeah.
I was like, all right, cool. I don't know. Bro, I remember my Air Maxes were like in the tub. My pants were in the tub. Like, I for sure pissed my pants, bro. And I was like, damn, like, what just happened? And then, yeah, it just, I remember I was so embarrassed that I didn't want to go to school for a week. So I didn't go to school for a week.
Yeah.
And it was just like, all right. And then after a week, I came back, and they were like,
The chocolate man's back.
yo, what happened?
Yo, who needs chocolate?
Yeah, I came back selling chocolates. I got a tat on my chest. I remember I got my chest tatted that week. Like that week I
This was
did.
on a
You're like,
sick
I need to
one.
distract these fools from something else. Look at this shit. Look at what I got.
Yeah, sure enough. I remember I was rocking V-necks at that point, and people were like, "Yo, like you got a tattoo?" I'm like, "Yeah,
Nah.
cool guy." Like, yeah.
Nah, bruh.
But yeah, man, that's a little side story. Like
I love it.
hustling, selling bud.
That's so
Sound
funny that the
goes.
first thing you thought of when you woke up is, yo, am I good back here? I'm all right.
Yeah, am I good?
Can I sit down? Shit.
Yeah, nah, I was perfect. I was like, thank God. The white boys got
man.
me home. Bro, they're speaking Spanish to me. I'm like, where you guys from? I'm like, what? I was like, oh, damn. Like,
No, bro. You forgot to say, though, as he's running away,
Uh-huh.
he gets picked up by these random fools. And then as they're driving off, this fool's hanging out the window. Help!
Nah.
Yes, bro. Omar says that story all the time.
That's cap because they put me in the car. They're like, "Yo, where you guys heading?" We're like, I think they were heading towards like the traffic circle. They're like, "Yo, he lives that way. Can you guys take him?"
And then when I just started driving, you started yelling, "Help me!"
I think I did. They're like, "Shut up, we're gonna get you home."
They're like, this one's good. We could stuff them.
Now they're like, "Yo, here, eat some bread." And I remember chewing on bread, just like spitting it out. I was like, "What the hell?" They're trying to sober me up, but I was done, bro.
And then I guess you start working into the, I'd say like the streetwear industry at Gene Machine. When did you get that job? Because for those of the people that don't know what Gene Machine is, especially to Long Beach, that's like a staple. At least when I was growing up.
Yeah, if you wanted some Vans or some jeans,
Bro, back to school was at Gene Machine.
yeah, you go to G Machine, and then you brought. Oh, excuse me. You brought cash. They hooked you up. You know.
You just got to tell the dude at the door, "Hey, do the talk."
Yeah.
A la camarina.
Yeah,
And they already know at the front desk.
They
No
knew the
tax.
lingo. They're Lebanese, so they were like, "Bara derive." Like
There you go.
Like, yo, that's the out the door price. You know,
Yep.
you bring cash, like it's king.
But yeah,
I remember in 2006-07 going into G Machine,
nice.
buying skate mids, and getting hooked up out the door. And I would always bug Sam, who's still the owner to this day. It's all family owned or just the one guy. Yo, man, let me know when you need a worker. And then I would bug him like for 2-3 years consistently every time I go. And then one day he's like, "Yo, give me your number if you're serious." And then out of the blue, he just texted me or called me. "Yo, what's up, man? It's your new boss, Sam. Like, can you come in tomorrow?" I was like, "Oh yeah, what time?" And then it just
fire.
Yeah, it just led to one of those things. Like it wasn't the best job. It was like they paid you cash. It was on. You get paid every, like, you work 2-3 days. You get paid like on that third day.
It's regular mom and pop.
Yeah.
Yo, out of high school, that's fire. What more can you ask for?
Yeah, I was like, "Yo, I just needed some money. I gotta pay my phone bill and whatnot."
Yep.
And then just started from there. And then
Which location did you work at?
I did it Long Beach for 6 to 8 months.
Yep.
And then they moved me to the Hollywood one, right next to the Scientology building in LA.
Crazy, bro. So
Yeah.
talk to him how you used to get there.
Bro, so I would commute. From Long Beach to Hollywood
That's
How?
a far commute, though.
through bus and train. And bro, I did that for quite some time. And man, that was like,
The one on Sunset, right? The Scientology building on Sunset?
no, it's on, is it Sunset and Hollywood Boulevard where they have the walk of, what's it
Oh,
called?
okay. No, that's a different one then.
Yeah, so I remember they built out the new what's the Shoe Palace on Hollywood and Highland. So I was on Hollywood, and I did that for, man, I think 2 years.
This man.
You're commuting all the way over there for 2 years?
Yeah, bro. And then I was working 3 to 4 days, like 10 to 11 hours, and then I would go to Supreme, and then I would cop whatever cash I made. I'd go to Supreme, cop stuff, and then I'd go resell that stuff. So this is prior to StockX when things were up.
Yeah.
Like if a jacket came out, it was just like double the price
Hell yeah.
Would you say that's where your reselling journey started? Like
for
where-
clothing.
yeah.
I think, yeah.
I think we should cut.
Okay.
No, keep going. Okay.
Is
So
that
I-
where your reselling journey started?
Yeah, so it started like for clothing because I took a break from sneakers for a while. I was still into SBs, but nothing crazy. At G Machine, I was getting like blessed by like the America workers
Yeah.
or like the sales representatives or Vans, and like they'd shoot me like shoes, clothing, and like some of these guys from like Puma, like they invite me to like shows.
This is at G Machine.
Yeah, through G
Fire,
Machine Connects
okay.
because they would do the Campus Con.
Yeah.
So the guys from like I guess like I don't know, one time the guy from Puma came through. He's like, "Yo, we're doing an event like Casey Veggies, Rocky Fresh, like mixtape. We want to put you on the VIP list," and he put me on. And
yeah.
I'd go with my boy to LA, watch the show or Campus Con weekend. Like, "Yo, Pusha T's gonna be out here."
Yeah.
Like, all right, sign me in. And then it's like
That's fire.
getting
Yeah.
to know people in the industry.
And how old are you when all this was happening?
Out of high school,
You're like 18, right?
yeah, 18, 19.
So you were young.
I was still young and just meeting
Getting
up.
exposed to all that, though, like,
That's
it's
what
just
I'm
Yeah.
saying. So you would go G Machine, and then with the money you used to make, you used to go to Supreme,
Yeah.
camp out, buy the shit, sell it, make some money on top. Do you mind elaborating on that CDG polka dot drop that you did?
Were you already into Supreme?
Let's take a quick break, guys.
Okay.
A quick break.
Quick break. Let's go. So I'm working at G Machine at the time, and I'm doing 3 to 4 days, 10 to 11 hour shifts, and then I'm getting paid cash still. So I hit a Supreme on Fairfax, and I'm just copying things from like some of the biggest drops like CDG Part 1, CDG Part 2, and then like releases, spring summer releases, or like when teas are coming out, like the Kate Moss part 2 where she's holding a cigarette and just big hype things like that.
Yeah.
And this is prior to StockX, so everything's going for money. Like you buy like a parka jacket or you buy a hoodie and it's reselling for like double the price or triple.
Yeah, instantly.
Yeah, instantly. And then photo tees as well. And this is like I remember 2011 or fast forward back in high school. I got FAFSA money and I hit up the Supreme store. Like it was the 2011 drop. And then I'm copying stuff. Like I'm going to Supreme, and then I run into one of the security guys. I forgot his name. I think it's Shu. And he's like, "Yo, you want to go to the front of the line?" I was like, "Yeah, how much?" Or like, I was like, "Yeah, how much?" He's like, $20. I was like, "Okay, let's do it." Give him $20, takes him to the front line, and then he's like walking in with me, like he knows me, like he dazzles me up, like, "All right, cool, bro." He's like, "Yeah, just tell the guys what you want." And then I'm like, "All right, let me get this, and that." And then that was kind of like my first big purchase. I remember going to Premium, dropping like $700 or $800. I'm like, cool. And I'm like, I'm gonna resell this. I'm gonna keep whatever I can after my profit. And that was kind of like my first encounter. And then fast forward to working at G Machine. It was working 3 to 4 days. It was like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or sometimes it was just Friday through Sunday. And then I'd go camp out Supreme Wednesday nights.
Fun of the line boys.
Yeah, and I remember still doing college for a bit at one point. I remember 2014, the Supreme Flyknit drop came out.
Honestly, that's what I wanted to ask you. I wanted to ask what were some of these big, because I know you were a camp out dude at Supreme.
Oh, hell yeah. I was diehard.
I know that because I remember you would tell me like, yo, like I was camping out for this and that. I was like, these were all the big drops.
Yeah, big names.
What was the biggest drops that you can remember from Supreme that you were camping out for? Because Supreme campouts were a crazy time.
It was crucial. And all these dudes kind of had each other's back, just being out there and just on the streets on Fairfax. These kids just trying to make like a quick buck, or some of these guys are proxying, some of these guys are buying for personal.
What was your most memorable campouts out for Supreme?
I want to say, the Supreme Flyknit, the first one, Supreme Flyknit 1 was one of them. I was in class and I seen the news drop and I just dipped class. I'm like, boom, I'm out. I catch the train.
Fuck yeah.
I catch the bus, catch the train. We camp out. A Nike rep supposedly comes and kicks everyone out. You guys cannot be here. And it was weird. It was a dude in a truck with a security jacket. So it kind of seemed real. Everybody went to like by the corner of Fairfax High, the parking lot.
Yeah.
Right across the Hundreds or the old Flight Club. And some people posted up there. And then me and 2 other people or 3 other people, we just went to go post elsewhere. And then it was just like morning of, we all lined up.
Yeah.
And that was one of the big drops. What is it? The Power Corruption Lies.
The PCL, yeah.
Yeah.
I was there for that one.
The hoodie. I remember copying the hoodie. It's like, this is all floor print hoodie that's reselling for like $500-$600.
Oh, I remember that one.
So when you were camping out with the mindset that you were gonna flip these items, or you were camping out because I need this in my collection or my closet, whatever.
It was a little bit of both, but mainly like, I gotta make bread, and then whatever I can keep, and then sometimes I'd rock it and I still sell it pre-owned.
So it was pretty much like
with the tag.
whatever you bought, whatever.
So
you bought whatever you could, like it would pay for the rest of the stuff, right?
Yeah, and there was times like, bro, I remember CDG part 2.
It's the one.
I'm heading up to Fairfax with like $60-$80 in my name, but I'm like, I'm gonna walk in with some bread, like I'm gonna figure it out. And it was one of those things like, it was a bunch of homies from El Monte, just like we would press motherfuckers like, yo, these are our spots, and we would sell the spots to the highest bidder, and it was always the Asian. The Asians always had the top dollar. They're always cashing out. And I would sell. I remember my first spot. I sold one spot in line for 160. And then like I'm like, yo, I can go grab like 8 more of these people in the back and make like 80 to 100 on each person. So I walked in with like $700, and we were just
selling spots.
Yeah, and people were like getting mad, and then like, what, you got a problem? Like we'd get in people's faces, and like the homies would be like, hey, you better not trip. So I'll break them off with whatever.
Yeah.
Or like, yo, they're selling their spots too.
Yeah.
So everyone's making their bread now. We got each other's back.
Yo, Supreme Lands are crazy. People were literally always getting into. I mean, if you YouTube it, you see fights. You probably see this guy somewhere in the background,
just choke somebody.
I was getting in. Like I was selling my spot, and I'll still be in front of you. Like somehow.
Okay, so you were on your way there with $60 in your pocket.
At 60, 50.
You were $50.
Yeah, 50, 60 bucks.
50
bro.
fucking dollars.
Yeah.
You got in line.
Uh-huh.
You and your boys essentially made spots up.
Yeah.
And we're selling spots in line. So
Yeah,
you
just
walked into the store.
Shoving foods in spots. And like,
$50. You walked in with $700.
Yeah, like $600 to $700.
And
bro.
how many, hoodies were you able to acquire? Were you coming back out and like flipping them or?
I was able to cop 2 tees. There was a CDG part 2. The bucket hats or the crushers.
Mm-hmm.
The jacket was like the most expensive thing that I recall
The
aside from the
coaches?
wallet. Yeah, the coaches, which I still got to this day. Well, I sold mine, and then I bought one resale at a store later on when the price was down.
Yeah.
And then it was all profit. So even if I sold the jacket for like $100 on top, like it was all money to me.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
because this money was just like I made it out of nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
I
selling
mean,
these-
honestly,
yeah.
it seems like
Yeah.
you made the most profit selling your spots online.
Oh, yeah.
Than actually buying the Supreme.
Yeah, initially, but then again, like,
But you got your product that you wanted.
I got product that I wanted. It was all on the house, and then like whatever I resold was even more profit.
Shout out the Supreme line.
Bro, I remember consigning my first CDG camp hat at Colors, which was associated with Holy Grail, and I remember I listed at $260, and I come back like 2 weeks later and it's sold. So like, yo, you're getting paid like 85% like of this $56 hat.
What did you
What's
like
that?
more, CDG 1 or CDG 2?
CDG 1. I remember my ex.
It's more memorable, I feel
I
like.
remember my ex at the time was like, I was going crazy over that drop. Like, oh, this is dropping, and she's like, okay. So she gives me like $400. She's
Fire.
like, go get yourself what you want. So I got the hoodie.
Slaps you in the butt.
Shout out to the ex.
Shout out to my ex. Fuck that. Nah, just kidding.
Yeah. Yeah.
City boys up. Nah, just kidding. Nah, she was cool, bro. She looked out. She
No,
blessed me.
let's keep on the other narrative. No, I'm just kidding.
nah,
I'm just kidding.
So, bro, I was able to buy the hoodie. I remember it was like $188 plus tax.
Yep.
CDG part 1. It was I copped the navy colorway, which I sold at the store.
Yeah.
I was at Disneyland.
I remember that.
One of my other exes at the time. She was like,
This boy.
these boys are like, yo, your hoodie just sold for like $1,100 pre-owned.
Yeah.
So I was
Faded. I remember that
Faded.
shit.
polka dots weren't even white.
That's when Supreme was at top resale wise.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember the kid just walked in. He was like, I want this one. I'm like, all right.
1,100.
And in my head, I'm like, I don't, he didn't seem, and I hate to like say it like this, but I just wasn't expecting it. I'm like, oh, you want this one? He's like, yeah, can I see it? Sure. If I'm not mistaken, where your hoodie was, it had a little hole, right?
Like a little tear on the.
Oh, this shit had a hole. It was navy. It was washed. The polka dots were like yellowish. He's like, how much is it?
They
I'm
were
like,
cream.
bro, the consignor has a 1,100. I'll take it.
Yo, people didn't care at that time.
I'm like,
Supreme was selling
fire.
like
JC texted me the picture. Like, yo.
it
Yeah.
sold.
I'm like, hell yeah. Like,
Yeah,
I'm chilling. I'm at Disneyland. Like, an item just sold. Like,
Oh yeah.
it was all profit at that
Yeah.
point. Like, it was a gift. Or the money, like, she gifted it to me. She's like, go buy what you want. I bought the tee. I bought a camp hat. I bought the hoodie. And then, like, some other things. Like, and right out the store, bro, I throw the hoodie on.
What was your biggest Supreme flip aside
Catching-
from that though? Aside from that hoodie,
Man. Box logo. The black with the white writing. I guess you're.
14.
It was like
13?
No.
15 or 16.
yeah.
What year did the camel box logo? It was like the cow camel.
The cow camo was
16?
2016,
15, 16, yeah.
Yeah.
When the Mendini decks came out.
16 if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I was there.
I was
I
there.
remember.
No, I remember that was a big flip coming out. Buying a hoodie for like, what was retail then? 159, 158,
They already had gone up
168?
at that point. I think they're like 160,
168, whatever.
158 if I'm not mistaken.
They claim it's Canadian cotton. It's a heavyweight garment, and I remember selling that out the door for 680.
To probably the man that had a minivan parked in the front.
Shout out Edison.
Shout out to the
It was
homie.
maybe him or one of those guys, and then I would go back and buy hoodies off people
Yeah.
for like 500 to 600, and I'd go sell it for 680.
The-
Hell yeah.
680.
A lot of
680.
everybody made money off Edison at one point or another. We mentioned him
Yeah.
a while ago, but he's probably the Asian that he's speaking of. That he would literally park in the front,
Minivan.
buy spots, go in there, buy whatever they allowed him at retail, and then still cash everybody out that was coming out.
He was the guy with the bag, and
He
he's
really
just-
was.
He's throwing it in
Yeah.
that van, just piling up that van,
Bro, that
remember-
that van is infamous.
Yeah.
It's a gray van. You guys know if you're into Supreme and you're out there, you know exactly who it
Toyota?
is.
Or
Yeah, I don't remember exactly the brand, but there was a gray van parked right in the front, and this man would cash out, grab your bag, and throw it in there.
Bro, I remember he would
Stock up
open the back door.
Yes.
And just throw them out, bro. And there's like bags falling
Bro,
down. It was
bro, box logos and everywhere in the back seat, everywhere.
And everyone kind of knew like not to fuck with that man.
You
like it was like so
even
respected, bro.
Security guards knew like, yo, don't mess with him.
Yeah,
No, he was good for it because like his money was good, so he was cashing out. I remember a couple years, or not even like whatever the Band LA grand opening. I ran into him. He remembered me.
Yeah.
Oh, was good. Like at one point, my face card was so good that he was fronting me money to go get him what he wanted, and then he'd pay me his proxy.
Fire.
So like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
I remember the first sandals the Supreme did, or the ones they only did. They were
black
crappy.
ones and the red ones. They
Trash.
would always separate.
I remember I sold some at the store for like $400.
Yep.
Like I held on to them.
I ran through like 2 pairs. They always separated on me.
Yeah, I still have a pair to this day. I don't know, somewhere it was all separated. I was like, I'm gonna reglue them one day, but them shits is not comfortable. Like,
Okay, so you go from there, Supreme. Now you go to Colors. How do you go into working at Holy Grail?
I remember going into Colors and buying a Bape hat,
Okay.
and then it was just like one of those things like, yo, this is a dope store. Like, it'd be cool to work here, just like that out of the blue. And I offered one of the workers there, like, yo, do you guys need people? And they're like, nah. Or they say something like, oh, talk to him. I guess the owner was walking in at the time, or he was there helping with the hat that I bought. Dude named Rich, and then I was like, yo, bro, you ever need any like workers? Let me know. And he's like, yeah, come back next week or like in 2 weeks. Came back 2 weeks, he wasn't there, and then I kept coming back because on my way to commuting into like, what is it, Union Square or downtown LA, the trains that connect to Hollywood. I forgot.
Union Station.
Yeah, Union Station. You'd always see Colors. They're on 7th and Flower, and I would always look back and see, or going in, you see Staples Center before what's the new building, Circa.
So
you'd see Staples Center, and then
As soon as you're passing it, you look back and you'll always see it.
yeah, I remember one way out from heading out, I was like, what? That's Holy Grail? Like, I remember hearing about it because I'd be on Flight Club, Riff LA, and Holy Grail. Those were kind of like the main.
And the riots.
And
that's literally what kind of way, like,
yeah, the riots kind of blew it up, but they had the old layout as the old Flight Club. I don't know if you remember that.
the website was just like Flight Club.
Yeah.
it was.
And it was cool. It was a good website. Like, even Flight Club would give you like analytics on what shoes sold for.
That was the StockX.
They were the original StockX. And like, in Top Dogs, it was like Flight, Riff LA, and then Holy was like, it was known here and there, but it wasn't big.
It was more so like if you knew type thing.
Exactly.
But they had really good shoes.
Yeah, and they were in a prime location, like right there, Staples Center.
Right across the street from the Staples Center.
Yeah, and then the convention center.
Mm-hmm.
So you had all those events, the auto shows, like the anime shows, and so I started working at Colors. I started interning there. They're like, "Yo, we're gonna intern, but you gotta like, it's not gonna be no pay at first." So I was
The
like,
old intern.
"Yeah, they." But at one point, I had got so good to where like I'm gonna get paid for what I'm interning for, and I not pressed him, but I told Rich like, "Yo, I'm leaving because it's not working out for me. Like I'm gonna go back to my old job. Like it's money. Like I'm getting paid. Like I was still working at G Machine and Holy Grail, so I was grinding out like 7 days out the week at one point, commuting and just grinding it out, bro. Like I was like, I gotta make something out of this. Or
How much time passed from when you started interning to when you're like, yo, you know what? I need to start making money off this.
I think like 3 months in.
Kind of gave him that
Yeah.
ultimatum.
Yeah, I was like, and I told myself like,
You
look,
put in that work.
yeah, I put in that work. He liked my work ethic, my honesty, and that's something I always carry. Like the only thing I did kind of feel bad was when I left G Machine. I kind of left on like not bad terms, but just like I just kind of ghosted Sam, and
You
I
just
felt
up and left.
Yeah, he called me. He's like, "Yo, like, where you at?" I was like, "Oh, I'm not gonna be coming in no more. I found a better opportunity." He's like, "Nah, I need you. You can't do that. You can't just leave." Man, I forgot the guy I was working with. His name was Adam. He was an older Lebanese cat, which real super like humble dude, very chill. He was moody at times, but I was like, "Yo, I gotta like, there's an opportunity over here. Like, I can network, I can meet people, or I can just something I was passionate for, like back into sneakers." And then I started at Colors, which was, they were known for their hat wall.
I remember that.
The big old, like 150 plus hats.
And then they had
all white
backpacks
wall.
also.
Yeah, they had backpacks. They carried 10 deep. They carried like, I don't know, like brands like, man, what else was big at the time besides
Spray
10
ground. I remember they used to have spray
Yeah,
ground
they carried
backpacks.
spray ground. They carried Mitchell Ness. Then they carried a couple of resale, Supreme items. Huff.
It was like a mixture of resale and like retail. Yeah.
And there wasn't,
It was a hybrid.
there was a lot at the time, but nothing crazy. Like you had your mall stores, like what is it, Metro Park or something like that. Remember that?
Damn, I remember.
Yeah.
That's a TBT right there. I haven't heard of Metro Park in forever.
Yeah, I remember that. And like back in high school, like remember Plunder, Karma Loop and all that.
Yeah, Plunder and Karma Loop.
And like
I would have spent hours on there and not buy anything.
They don't got my size or nah. It's
I don't have the money for it, but I was
it's
just
not
like,
a good deal. It's already half off.
I know it was already half off and at extra 20, and I still couldn't afford it.
These were sites that were like, I guess that was the clothing thing, and they were big on the retail, and that's one thing that. So I started off there, and I started learning like SKUs or product numbers and learning how to input product. And I shout out to Alyssa. She was the manager at the time. She was pretty much taking me under her wing.
Yeah.
And teaching me all this. But I really wanted to get into Holy Grail for the
So how did that transition happen from Colors to Holy Grail?
I remember Alyssa quit. And then I remember her telling me, like, yo, just watch out for the owners. Like, they've kind of changed. Like, they're not who they used to be. And I kind of always kept that in mind. But at the same time, I was like, yo, this is like, it's a paying job now.
Mm.
I'm grinding it out. And then before leaving, before I tell Rich, like, y'all got to get paid, I got to leave. I remember he just pays me cash on the spot. Like, yo, like, what is it? And then, like, he gives me the number. So I'm like, cool, I get my money's worth. And he's shooting me clothing. He's looking out for me. And I remember, like, the first month or two, there's a break-in in Colors. They had no gate. I guess they broke it through the door. I remember one night calling from Hollywood, I see the door. Like, oh, what the hell happened? And then I go in the next day, like, and I offer help or, like, yo. And then, like, he kind of seemed like that good person in me, like, yo, this guy's really down, like, this guy's about it, like, he's just like genuine, cool, like, honest dude.
Mm-hmm.
And like I always had his back. For like I think I worked 2.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I transitioned to Holy because Alyssa was leaving, and they needed somebody, and they're like, "What do you know about shoes?" I'm like, my thing was SBs. I learned J's or Jordans there through my coworker Benji, and he was just like he was a Jordan guy / SB
Benji.
guy. And I remember first day, like, seeing him, he was rocking Freddy's on feet. I'm like, oh, damn, like, those are hard. Like,
You're like, so that's how we're coming? All right.
yeah. And I was like, I'm in my, like, Americas or something. Like, I don't know, something like non-hype.
Yeah.
And then...
You're like, bet, let me go get my blue lobster real quick.
hold
I'm
on,
running home.
I didn't think I sold them by that time, or I don't know if I had them.
So
But
you go into Holy.
going to Holy, and then I started learning, like, consignment input, like, authenticating sneakers. And I'm studying shoes or how to wrap shoes.
Yeah.
I'm learning how to wrap shoes there through Benji, and then authenticating.
What time is this? Like, what year?
This is 2014 to 16 is the time frame
Okay.
that I'm there. And
What was a huge flip that you seen at Holy Grail? Like, what was... Because they had some bangers.
yeah, I think my first big flip, or like as a sales representative, was Red Octobers for like 8 to 10K. And I remember the dude came in. He's like, "Yo, my buddy sold these when he got them back in the days for retail, and we started up our vaping business or like the liquid."
Mm.
And then he's like, "Fast forward a couple years now, I'm buying these shoes for him."
Wow.
And he cashed out on that and like a couple other shoes. And then second, or the biggest was I think Perfect Pair's cousin. I forgot, ARG.
ARG 420.
Yeah, he came in. It was like a basketball game or a hockey game. He came in. He cashed out on Paranormans, like U Supreme Dunks, the black cement,
Yeah.
and like all these other dunks. It was like, I remember it was like north of 10K in cash.
Yo, side note,
Yeah.
if you worked at a sneaker shop and you ever seen Perfect Pair or his cousin ARG 420 walk into your store, you knew your day was good. Like,
Yeah.
you knew, like, if you don't know who they are, they have casino money. Let's just say that. You knew you're making all your sales that day. So I'm sure when he came in, it was just
when
like,
Perfect Pair came and you'd see that Lincoln limousine pull up.
Yep.
That black one. And then I was like, okay, cool. What do we got in a size 13? And then I remember him copying like Supreme Air Force Highs for bread, and him and his wife were always so cool. Like she always,
They really were.
yeah. I remember one time I was working at a restaurant, and they came in Long Beach, and they remembered me.
Nice.
And then just like, oh, how you been? And like, especially the wife, she's always been
wholesome.
so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then really good people, and back to them, they would come in, cash out. Like when NMDs were popping, like $500-$600 NMDs. We had Mike Bibby collections at one point.
Yep.
That even when Mike Bibby came in one time, he was like, "Yo, how'd you guys get these?" And I was like, "You're looking at Bibby all buffed out, like I don't know, it's consignment."
Give them back, homie.
Yeah, and he's like, "Whoa," he's like, "I wonder who like."
He's like,
who
I didn't
party."
consign these.
Yeah, and it was all, I forgot what size it was, but it was like Baby Lows, the 7s, the 2s, and just, Sacramento Kings colorways, I guess.
All the
Yeah.
black and purple and white and
Yeah.
purple ones.
Yep.
And
Hell
Purple Pair
yeah.
just copying pairs, and those are kind of like big flips or like big names. Nate Robinson would always come in. I don't know. The list kind of goes on. There was like other names, like I think Dom Kennedy.
Who's the one that stood out the most to you?
Stood out
As far as like these high profile clients.
Kind of, we were like almost starstruck. You know?
Yeah, like who?
Yeah,
Who? Perfect. Who made you starstruck?
Not really starstruck, but I think it was cool. Like, I mean, Perfect Pair was always just a genuine dude. Like that was cool, but starstruck, man, I can't really.
Like somebody walking in, you're like, holy fuck, he's in the store.
Yeah,
Man, what's that baseball player? Victor. He was I think Puerto Rican dude, Victor something. I gotta remember his name.
JC, where you at?
Yeah, I don't need.
you couldn't have been that big if you don't remember his name. Come on, come on.
Swaggy P, it was pretty cool. I remember Swaggy P was at.
And this is when Swaggy P was
at
his height.
I remember we got him 750s, the triples, the Adidas.
Yeah.
And he balled up on them the next day.
Did he come in with the shoe dude?
He had his cousin.
The little short dude that he'll clean his closet from?
No, it was his name Adrian or Aiden or like
Adrian.
like big cut, like little chunky dude, his cousin.
Yeah, he was a shorter, chunky dude.
I think that was his cousin, and he would get us in at Laker games for like
oh damn,
like $60 to $80. I remember for Kobe's last game, he got my coworker Benji in for like $1,000.
They're just free tickets. He's like, yeah, give me $80.
Yeah, and I remember like, yo, you want to go? And I was like, damn, $1,000 at the time was like a lot. I was like,
fuck yeah.
But I wish I would have gone. Like, even if you're standing up, like watching Kobe's last game.
Facts.
I remember catching Kobe's last game against the Knicks for like $60.
Yo, did he ever walk in, or did you ever catch a glimpse of him working in front of the Staples Center for those couple years?
Nah, never. He never really stepped foot in, I don't think a lot of players really did. Besides Swaggy P, but nothing really big that starstruck me. It was just a couple basketball players, football players. I know one of the guys that we went to school with. He played for the Astros for a bit.
Nice.
I think his name was like John Singleton. I remember he came in. He bought Solars for like $5,000 to $6,000. And I was kind of like, I remember going to high school with this guy.
Yeah.
He's cashing out with us. Like, he was a little older than me, but that was pretty cool, like, seeing, like, big flips like that.
So, being into Holy Grail, you obviously learned and everything. How was the exit of you leaving Holy Grail? Like, shit just started getting, like, rocky?
Yeah, it was, there was a point where they weren't trying to pay me. So, that's when things got a little, like, sour. And I know they had some crazy chargebacks. And I remember telling, like, yo, this is sketch. Dude, do not sell to this dude. Like, he's auto-signing online. I remember, like, seeing, like, or hearing about, like, an $80K chargeback. Big old shoes. Yeah, and it was, like... And
all
it was just
one
like,
purchase?
At the end, after all, like, all these purchases he made. And I was like, yo, I told you guys about that guy. Like, I wouldn't have been selling to him. Like, it was just sketch. He would always call in. He'd sign off somehow online, electronically, or he'd send a form. And I would just always be like, yo, this is sketch. This sounds like a scam.
Hell yeah.
And sure enough, I remember that big-ass chargeback. Or it was something crazy. Like, it was not no, like, 5 to 10K. It was, like, north of, 40, 50.
At me.
No,
that little bitch in the $50 charge rate is $80,000.
It was something crazy, bro. And he was buying good stuff. Like,
I can imagine.
Also,
I
like
bet to rack up
Paranormans.
80K.
Hell yeah.
It was something crazy, bro, that I know it definitely affected him. But, I mean, it just turned a little sour when the money got tight. Or, like, it was just like, well, at least on his end. But I was like, yo, I'm still an employee. You still got to take care of me. Or at least, I'm working these hours. I'm putting in my work.
Yeah.
Like, I deserve my pay. Like, I remember one point, I was like trying to bargain with him. But then I was like, I told myself, like, what am I doing? Like,
Yeah.
and I told my sister, like, yo, can you still give me a job at that restaurant that you're at? And it was like, I was paying myself at one point. Benji was doing my hours. He was kind of like the manager. And then one day, the owner's wife came in. She's like, oh, I'm here for the cash deposits. Cool. And then she's like, why is this short? I'm like, no, it's not short. Like, tells you, like, why it's short, like, my payroll. And she's like, you've been paying yourself? I'm like, yeah, you guys haven't been here for, like, 4 months. Like 3 or 4 months. It was like they'd just be in and out. And then I remember Benji being like, oh, look at these foods, like spending consigners money, like shopping at like Bloomingdale's, like just tricking it off. And it was just like they weren't doing things right. And it was just like one of those things like, all right. I remember Alyssa's telling me, like, look out for them. Like, watch out.
This is all replaying.
It's all clicking now.
Yeah, it's like, all right, it's making sense. They're not trying to pay me. And then one point, I grab my money. Like, I pay myself. I take all my shoes out of consignment. My homie at the time, Edwin, he looks out for me. He puts all the shoes in his car. I didn't have a car at the time. I had my bike, and I remember getting into it with
The owner.
with Rich. Yeah, I was like, "Yo, bro, thank you for the opportunity, but fuck you." You know, like, it was one of those things, like fuck you and all the bullshit. Like, he cut my hours off, and it was one of those things like, "Yo, you did me dirty. I had your back, and this how you treat me? Like, nah, bro, this is not gonna slide."
Yeah.
And my aunt, what I always said, don't let like anybody just like step over you or try to treat you how they want. Like, stand up. Like, don't let nobody punk you. Like, you know your worth, you know your value.
Yeah.
You know, you move on. And it was one of those things, like, I told my sister, like, 2 weeks prior to leaving, 2 to 3, all right, I'm getting the job in. He cut my hours. I'm like, cool. I kind of like, you know, I'm gonna prepare myself.
Yeah.
I take the hours getting cut.
Was that a lead up from when she not caught you, but she asked like, "Yo, are you paying yourself?"
Yeah, it was like, yo, like, I was like, yeah, like, what do you think? Like, I need to get paid. Like,
Yeah.
Benji's been writing off my hours. You can check my hours. It all matches up.
And it's not like you were stealing.
And-
You were just paying yourself.
Yeah, and the
What was
deposits were making sense.
Mhm.
And then she's like, "Oh no, that's not cool." I'm like, "Well, what's not cool is you guys not paying me on time,
Yeah.
or not paying me my worth, or just in general paying me."
Yeah.
And then it became like a headache, like me having asked for money. I was like, "Nah, I don't need this, bro." So I gave him the keys. You know, I'm telling you, fuck you. Here you go. But thank you for the opportunity.
Yep.
And he was already doing people dirty from what I heard or kind of known. And I was just like, yo, I'm going to bounce. Okay, my bad. Okay, take a break.
We are back from our break, and shit's about to get juicy.
Oh, man.
All right, Chris. So
Fuck you. Thank you for the opportunity. That's where we left off.
Yeah.
Wow.
get off your
That-
phone, bro.
that- that- scene
I'm
ri-
trying to get a timeline of when the whole, that whole break-in.
For what?
Oh, you were going to ask me, I don't know, about the break-in.
Oh, your house.
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get
Okay,
to that. But that day, so you hand them the keys. You're like, all right, cool, I'm done.
This is like, man, 2017?
Okay.
So I think I leave 17. So I hand him the keys, and I'm like, thank you, but fuck you at the same time. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you gave me opportunity, but at the end of the day, you try to fuck me over, try to cut my hours completely, and then I was like, nah, bro, this ain't gonna slide. So I remember that day they weren't there. I paid myself, like, in cash. They had no cameras. My cousin's like hitting me up like, yo, why don't you hit me up? We could have like looted that bitch. We could have like, you could have low key like came up on some stuff. But I was like, nah, that's not me, bro. It's not how I roll. Like, you know, I'm an honest dude. I paid myself what my actual pay was and my consignment. And I took all my consignment out. I gave it to the homie, Edwin. He looked out. He put it in his car. And I was like, yo, just wait for me right here or meet me up the street. And then it was like, I got into it.
You guys get physical, too.
Yeah, so the good thing was smart. Like, on my break, I go deposit the money into my bank account. So I'm like, there's no cash left. And I have like a Supreme waist bag around my chest. And then I tell him, and then I get into it. And then he tries to grab my
Your
my waist bag or through my shirt.
the strap.
Yeah, and then I guess he unclips it. So I grab it, and then I just kind of like push him off. And I get loud. I get in his face like, what the fuck, bro? Don't be coming up on me like that.
Yeah.
And then I start getting all loud, and then his wife comes in or his girl. He's like, yo, what's going on? And I'm like, he's like, Chris over here quitting on us. I was like, yeah, fuck you. Like, I'm gone, bro. Like, I'm done. Like, I don't need this. And then I tell him why, and then he's like, yeah, he took some money. And I was like, nah, I paid myself. What you mean took some money? And then I grab my bike, and we get into it, and then I'm walking out the store, and I'm just knocking all the fucking shoes down on the wall. I'm like, fuck this shit. I'm like knocking, but I'm not going crazy. Like, and he's like, his daddy's a lawyer. Like, so I was like, I'm not trying to go the route where like I get in a fight with this guy and I get sued or something. So she's like, call the cops. And I dipped. I dipped up the street, and I'm like hiding behind like a car up the street on Los Angeles.
You hear cops?
Nah, the cop does pull up, but like there's no proof of cameras in there. There's like, it's like his word, my word, but I'm gone. And then
what are you gonna say? I'm not paying my employee.
Yeah, and then like then he texts me like an hour later, like, yo, bro, come back. Like, my bad, I didn't mean for it to go this way. I think on one of my old phones I still have the message.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of knows he fucked up. He was like, yo, bro, my bad. Like, I didn't mean it to end this way. And I didn't reply. I was like, there's nothing for me to say. I got another job. I'm out. Like, it was cool while it lasted, but for you to not pay me or for you to try to like treat me less or like come at me this way, like, that's not gonna roll. Like, I'm not gonna let nobody overstep on me or like just come at me like that. So I grab my money. The homie meets me up the block. I grab my my shoes, and like I remember like they're in a bag, bro. And then I'm on the bike, and I'm like, I hit up my cousin, and I'm like, yo, I just left Holy, or I forgot, and I think I hit up JC too, and then I hit up my ex, and then she's working in downtown. But she's like, oh, you already got off my shift. I'm not going to go back to LA. So I just catch the train back. And I remember like being just adrenaline rush. Like, yo, this shit just happened. Like, just being pumped. Like, and in my house, like, I should have low-key fucked them up. But then I was like, no. Or like, I should have low-key socked them. But, you know, I got my worth. And then, like, you know, my experience. But definitely, like, wasn't going to let nobody just come.
And especially after, like, everything you did for that man,
bro. There was a time where Colors was getting sued for Colors. He was screwing over a guy, and then I remember he had me go in there and like take clothing off, like get all this good stuff out. And prior to him closing Holy, the original location, he's like, you and some dudes are gonna go in there and just demolish the place. He didn't want to leave the place looking good for nobody. Like he had like that kind of like that maldad or like that envy, like just like not a good soul, you know?
Yeah.
No one's gonna come in here and make a name for themselves in my own spot.
Yeah, but it's just like, man, like kind of like that. You're not gonna take over my territory, but at the same time, it didn't feel like good energy. And these are people that claim to be like vegan, healthy, and like I don't know, like spiritual minded, like. Nah, these are piece of shit assholes, bro. Like, and I wasn't rolling with that. And so soon enough, I dipped. I went into the restaurant scene, and then that was kind of it. I remember at one point too, like I was lying to people, like consigners. You being a consigner, not like people were trying to get paid, like trying to get their money.
They're hitting you up after you already had left.
Yeah, because I made good relationships with some of these people. Like some of these people, I was buying stuff off or just like kept it cool. Like to this day, people come into Breakout. They used to work. They used to consign a Holy or sell through us, and they remember me. Oh, and they're like, "Oh, like yo, like you always like we're cool, 10 toes down, like just solid dude." And that's how I just been rocking, and then just being like organic, and then people rock with that. And then we weren't paying people at one point. I think like it was like 6 months, dude. And he was doing homies dirty, like his own homies. I remember like the week I left, a Paris SB sold for like 10K, and I heard that guy did not get paid.
Damn.
And like I heard other stories of like,
dog, imagine selling a Paris SB, not getting your money, and it only going for 10K.
Yeah, no, and then he screwed other people over, like business people, like in his restaurant or like other business avenues. So it's like
it's safe to say that he didn't have good business ethic.
Yeah, it's just total snake, bro. It's like someone like that had so much going for him potentially, and like you're burning bridges, you know, and like he's like. He's rocking with like big names, like getting product, and it's like, yo, you could have done so much more, but you were just lazy, just a snake. You were just like, it's just foul of like the way you went out.
Yeah.
Thanks for blowing that at me.
Oh, sorry. But yeah, it was just like one of those people like with just weird energy, just foul. And I was like, yeah, I'm not rocking with this. So,
I remember when you would tell me, bro, like as a homie, like, damn.
Yeah. And there's deeper stories that I won't really touch in on. And I'm sure this goes on behind any other places. Like there's a behind the scene, like
of course, dark
stories, and then it's just a glimpse of it. But it was just like, yo, I'm not rocking with this. I'm out, and I got into like the restaurant scene, and that was a whole new like avenue. Like learning like behind the line cooking. I don't know, barista, cashier, and it just goes on. And
fucking being rosado.
Were you still reselling during that though?
What?
Were you still reselling? Or was it just like, yo, this is my new job. This is what I'm.
So I left the week when the Supreme Louis Vuitton dropped. So I had just started my new job, and like Benji hits me up like, yo, they're giving out tickets for the LV drop. I'm like, damn, bro, I just started like my first week, official week. I can't just get up and leave. Like I wish I could. Like, I mean, the last thing I did, like while I was working at the restaurant, I did the Nas drop.
The photo team.
God. Bro, that was like over 24 to 36 hours.
This fool was there for 2 days.
Technically like 2 days, and I didn't get shit, bro. Yes, I came back. The only thing I got was like a sunburn and like In-N-Out late at night.
Yeah, bro.
I remember when my coworkers at the restaurant, I remember going to In-N-Out by a traffic circle, and dudes looking at me like, yo, you okay? I'm like, I'm just tired. He's like, I can tell. I was like, yeah, I was hiking. I was hiking and I got sunburned. And then I'm like, I'm just hungry.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And shout out to David. He was the homie that was my coworker at the time. And when I left, he was like on vacation, like in like the Philippines or like Cambodia. And he calls me like, yo, you quit Holy? I was like, yeah, fuck them. Like, I'm done.
Yeah.
And he was like next in line. So he had to kind of deal with the whole like bullshit.
Yeah.
Like even to this day when he had came in, like
Ramirez, right?
yeah, this
Oh,
is
yeah,
Benji's brother.
I remember that.
Real cool dude. Like always, like you know, same thing. Held it down.
Just wholesome.
Yeah, cool as cat. And you know, it was my coworker, and me and him held it down like the last like 2 years.
Yeah.
And then or last year, whatever. And then we camped out for that Supreme drop. Him and his brother paid like whatever extra fee to get in the door. Like same, but this is a higher fee. And at the time, I think it was like 300, 400, 500, something crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, I'm not paying that. Like, I can use that to invest in product. Like, I'm gonna get in. And literally, right before they close the store, like, there's 4 people in front of me. We're up at the glass, like you know the famous glass everyone's pressed up against.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yo, I'm gonna get in, and then they're like, yo, we're cutting the line here. I'm like, no, like I cannot come back tomorrow. Like I gotta be at work.
Yeah, I've been here for 2 days.
Oh, I didn't get shit, and that was like 2017.
Oh, how the times have changed. You went
Yes.
from making $700 to selling spots to
Yeah,
now not
like-
even being able to get in.
Yeah, like cook God, like, and I think fast forward a couple years later, me and you went to a draw, right?
Remember?
The little lock boxes. I think like the Adidas Prides came out that week.
Spring, summer 17.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
This is when you prior to you
This
open
is
Holy.
I'm.
Silver Bullets
Breakout.
came out. Breakout.
Yeah.
My bad.
No, you're.
I remember when I first started working at Breakout.
Yeah.
I still had that like. Thank you for calling. Oh my bad.
Yeah,
Breakout.
You still had it in there?
Yeah, bro.
And he was like, and I'm like, Breakout. And then I'm like, yeah, it took me a while. It was like getting back into the whole sneaker store thing.
How long was that or that period of working in restaurants to jumping into?
I mean,
Because I'm assuming that's where the transition was.
Yeah, it was
It was
Holy
Holy
Grail.
restaurant and then Breakout.
yeah, I did the restaurant from like 2017 to like up to like ending 2018,
Mm-hmm.
I think. And then I remember. No, I think it was 19
How did that go about? Like who hit who up?
or 18 or 19.
I-
Wait, hold on. One question. When you were at the restaurant, were you ever like, damn, fuck this place. I want to go back into the shoes. I want to get back into the sneaker game. Like, fuck this place.
There was pros and cons for sure. There was definitely like I like that I had multiple coworkers, and like I wasn't just around dudes, and like you know like I was you know I made a lot of friends, and the restaurant scene like I have like over like 30 coworkers, so like and all different ages.
It's a mixture. It's
Yeah, the
an
cooks in the back are
environment.
hilarious, same pendejas, and like
Yeah.
and then just like I mean I met my ex there at one point.
This boy got
I
it.
know,
Line.
damn, bro.
No. But no, I met her there, and then same thing. Fuck, what was the question again? How was the transition?
No, the question was,
How many exes?
I mean,
when did you start? Who hit
Oh, so yeah, who hit who up? How did like how did you go into Breakout?
I think he came to my house, right? I was gonna show you my whole like or my collection at the time.
Yeah. So when I was getting ready to open Breakout, same thing. Like I reached out to you
Consign.
to consign. He had items. He was like, "Oh, bro, like I'll help you out too." So then I went to his house. He was just showing me all his collection, Supreme and just mainly Supreme.
Yeah, like Bogos.
But still, he had some shoes. And then there's kind of where I kind of told him, like, yo, bro, like, I'm going to need some help. You know what I mean? Like, if you're down to help me out.
Yeah, that was 17.
17,
right?
yeah.
And I think at that time what year was the first Compass Con?
7th that we went to.
Yeah, 16.
16 was the first one. If
Yeah,
I'm not
16.
mistaken.
16.
So yeah, 16. I was at the restaurant. I was definitely missing like the easier work, you can say, in a
Yeah.
way. But at the same time, I wanted to learn the restaurant business. So it wasn't like there was pros and cons. Like I said, I miss like it being kind of smoother and easier, just bringing up people and working with shoes. And the restaurant is just chingas, bro. Like at one point, like it was first cashiering, barista, and then I did a little bit of prep work in the back, and that was like cool to learn. And then I was like, oh, you know what? All right, we need you in the line, like part time. And then it was a line like a assembly line, like you drop the fries, you make the paninis, you're dropping the chicken, you're dropping the steak, you're cutting up the steak and the chicken, and it's just like, bro. And I'm talking about like this food. No, I told him like, bro, fucking like being rosado, like, and then the cook's like, go grab flour and just throw it up in there, just Like, you know, I want that
You're
there.
gonna make masa,
And
nigga, by the end of the day.
Some of these dudes would be like, they're from like
Los tamales. a
like
la
6, 7 into the morning until closing. Like we close like at 9 or 10.
verga. Fuck that.
So bro, and some of these guys would like thug it out, do like, you know, over 12 to 14 hours or
Oh.
more.
Paisas, bro.
Yeah, bro. And some dudes, you know, like low key, like, you know, sacando la bolsita and just working, bro.
Hell yeah.
So I was like, damn,
Keep it going.
Yo, they have that power in them. But I was like, nah, bro. Like I'll do part time, and that was cool. Like having coworkers, like I said, like multiple coworkers,
It's a different dynamic.
and just seeing a lot of faces or familiar faces, as opposed to like the whole sneaker stuff. You'd get like, I mean, you get some cool guys, and then you get some dudes like hagglers or some assholes or like. It just like it's a whole different vibe. It's
Yeah.
two different things, and then also working early, like Sunday mornings, people coming in from church. It's two different like businesses or entities, but
Yeah.
So the call comes in from Carlos. He's like, "Yo, I'm opening up a shop."
He doesn't drop his uniform
Yeah.
the day that I call him.
that's
Takes
the
him a
thing.
little bit. No, he had
Yeah.
just committed. His sister got him that job. He had just committed, and like I said, he's just like, he's a good dude. He's a stand-up guy, so he's just like, I'm not gonna make my sister look bad.
Yeah.
I just started 2 months ago.
Yeah,
Like,
I'll
I'm
start
a right.
part
You
time.
hit him up.
He had just started at Marketplace. Yeah.
So I told him like, yo, bro, I would love to, but I'm committed to my sister. I kind of gave her my word, and I don't want to make her look bad. So yeah, I don't want to make her look bad, but
You committed to the
Yeah.
job.
You're committed to the job. You don't want to make your sister look bad.
yeah, or,
Yeah.
or I'm committed to the restaurant.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm committed to the restaurant, bro. I don't want to make her look bad.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, she put in the good work for me. It was
Yep.
one of those restaurants where like you got in if you knew somebody.
Yeah.
It was never like, it was very rare when an application came in or like or someone to go like apply for a job. They hired very few people. It was more or less like word of mouth.
Of course. The
So-
confianza.
Yeah, everybody knew everybody there in a way.
So
Okay.
now, so I have a question for you. So being that you were there with Breakout like since day one, right, and seeing it to where it is now, like how do you feel? How does that make you feel? Like seeing the growth, seeing like a successful business, seeing people actually pay out their consigners, like all those. I think I heard you say like you would give Lowe's a lot of like not input, but like just
Pointers.
like pointers. Yeah, like
Yeah.
just make sure you pay these guys, and you're gonna be straight.
And I was a sponge. Anything that would come from him, anything that comes from anybody, but obviously him coming from Holy Grail and his experience, he would like, bro, he taught me a lot. Like a lot of things that he would tell me, like there's times where I'm just kind of busy and it seems like I'm kind of brushing it off, but anything he'd tell me, I always took it in
Yeah, I know.
and I
Yeah.
always, applied it. But
That was something like, you know, he knew that work ethic. He knew like the experience. I remember when I first came in, like, oh, yo, drawer count. And I would like, yo, we got to have a minimum of 200 and we got to have this, and that. And, or like authenticating bills. Like I remember dealing with a lot of money and especially having to tell how it's real, how it's not. And then I remember we worked one time and then we got for some dude bought some Jordan 13s and he put glitter on the $100 mark. You know where the $100 like green and it kind of like shines?
the corner ones.
This fool put glitter. And I'm like, yo, this shit's fake. This is glitter, bro. And then like we're just wet off making a sale. This is early Breakout. And then
Yeah, we weren't making no sales.
but as far as pointers, like I remember seeing like stores like the Pound for Pound and then Holy Grail, like not paying out people. And he consigned at one point where like he wasn't getting paid out. He was hitting me up like, yo, why is it taking so long? And it's just like, yo, the owner's out of town or something like some bullshit lie.
fairy tales.
That I had to make up with a lot of consigners, bro. And it got tiring too with Holy, like having to lie to people. And I was just like, yo, like, oh, you're gonna get paid out soon. And then one day he just got I think a PayPal out of nowhere.
I'm like, finally.
Yeah, like finally, it was for some Jordan 12, some Wolves.
Weak ass shit.
And damn. As far as like the growth from Breakout, back to that and pointers, like definitely beautiful seeing it grow from, bro. It started off like, man, what was the space like?
10 by 10.
10 by 10.
10 by
brother.
10, bro. Yeah, I remember you're like, yo, this is a stock room for my like your family business, the chairs.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
And then all right, cool. And then
He walked in. He's like, "This is not like Holy Grail."
nah,
This is holy shit. What the fuck?
nah, this is like, yo, it was small. I was like, yo, this is the restroom of Holy and maybe some stock room.
Yeah.
But like,
Facts, bro.
but I always like believed like, yo, this can be something.
Tell
Like,
tell him what you had told me probably like a year ago, and then now we're starting to hear it more.
yeah, like
The flight club thing.
a year and a half or a year, I was like, yo, bro, we could be the next big thing as far as consignment. Like, we can be the next Flight Club. And I always push that. I want to say maybe even prior to a year.
Yeah.
Like it was always that belief, and especially like me being part of a team. Like I'm gonna give my all, my 100. I'm gonna always put in the work. And he knows I'll stay the after hours with him. If it's the people that cash out late or we need to, I remember we did the authentication for like 10 plus or maybe even 20 pairs of fragments. And we're there all day just thugging it out, fragment one lows. And we're like, make sure they're getting legit checked. The guys leave the shoes, they even come back, right?
It was 25 pairs of fragment Jordan 1 lows. This is the week that they came out.
Yeah, there's a week they came out.
They're selling to you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we're legit checking them. They go eat somewhere or like they're posted up. We're doing like our physical check. I think we run check too just to make sure. And it's just one of those things like that. I would always stay there to the end. And I have been so far. And as far as like putting the work in and seeing the growth. And then I remember him telling me like, yo, how do you like do consignment for him? And I'm like, oh, check out Flight Club. Like look at their form.
He sent me Holy Grails.
Holy Grails. Like, look, this is our form. You can sign with us. So kind of like little things that he got to learn like on the inside of consignment.
Mm-hmm.
And just like little pointers like that. Or like, oh, yo, like, don't post this much cash with this big cash out. Like, you never know who's watching on IG. Like, some goons can just pull up and then it can be like, like a payday for them.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just like little pointers like that. Or like, authenticating bills, shoes, sneakers, buybacks, or like having certain like, I guess words or oh yeah, we don't purchase those items. We don't, we don't partake in that. And, we specialize in this. And breaking down consignment to people, how it worked. Just
your suggestions and your
experience.
Input
his knowledge
is ingrained into Breakout's DNA.
Yeah. Chris had a very, important
helping
structure in Breakout. Because a lot of times when I would be running business, like I had said in my interview, I didn't really know what the fuck I was doing. But I would run to Chris. I'd be like, yo, bro, like, with consignment, like, let's say they bring something, like, I would just ask him a lot of, like, general questions, and he always had the answers for them.
Oh, yeah,
so this took, like, he was a very key part in Breakout, you know what I mean? Having someone there who was knowledgeable from that industry. So it all came from my guy, Chris, bro.
Yeah, because I was doing, like, the Supreme heavily, or, like, yo, how do you, I don't know, how do you authenticate this? Or you look for this, and that, or, man, I just had something right now. I forgot. It just, man, fuck. I'm trying to think.
Authenticating Supreme.
Yeah, authenticating Supreme.
How do you?
I like drawer count or, man, I just had it. Damn, why'd it go away?
It's gonna come back right now.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you're at Breakout, right? So it's been how long since you've been there?
I started 2019 or ending 2018.
Full time.
Did I start? I don't know if I started.
No, it was 2019.
Did you start part time or did you just full on go full time?
Oh yeah, so I left on my trip to Japan and China in 2018, like the week of, I think, Thanksgiving. I was out for like 10 days, and then I come back. I'm still at the restaurant, and then I tell my manager, hey, I got this new opportunity. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to just step out temporarily.
Were you the persistent one, or did he hit you up this time? Or were you the one that's still like,
he had text because he was helping me weekends or bi-weekly, like whenever he could, because it was just me and JC. I'm like, damn, I got to give JC some days off because I would be at the store by myself for a lot of the times. I'm like, damn.
I did start, like, I was there opening day.
Yeah.
And then I did some part-times, but then I got busy to where I couldn't do no weekends. And then sometimes it's like, yo, this is my only weekend off. Like, I got to somewhat enjoy it. Or
I was working, like, on his schedule. Like, let me know when you can.
So it was part-time for the most part in the beginning.
Yeah, and then some days, like, I would work, like, I don't know, 5 to 6 days out the restaurant and then go, like, 1 or 2 days at Breakout.
Why did you do the commitment jump? Well, like, what was it that you're like, all right, you know what? I want to be part of Breakout.
Oh, the rosadas, huh?
That, and you know what? It was mainly, like, I was like, yo, I think I'm ready to go back to sneaker stuff. Like, I know the offer kind of stood. And then when I think I heard, like, JC was leaving, or no, he was still there, right?
No, you were still there. I remember you had texted me when you when you told me I'm going on my Japan trip, and I'm thinking about leaving Marketplace, but I'm still hesitant on it.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, if you do decide to leave, just know you have a home over here. Like, if you want to start whenever.
I was like, cool.
And then I remember when he landed, I got the text message.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Like, yo, bro, I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. And then, I think it was like ending 18, 19.
I would say like the beginning of 2019 is when you just boom, full-fledged.
Yeah, 19, 20, 21, 22. And yeah, so far, 4 years, bro. Damn. It's
My
crazy how
dog.
time flies and the growth, bro. Like seeing it from what it was to what it is. And I remember like consignment forms or ways we did like consignment
Yeah, bro. To now.
to like labels. Like I remember like, oh, how'd you guys do that, Holy? Oh, we had section A,
Mhm.
B, and like with the last consigners, last four, like we created a number for them, or the last four of their phone number, or you know. And then remember we did the SKUs for a bit
Yeah.
with the barcode and
Mm-hmm.
just like it's all trial and error, bro. Like I remember being at Holy and hearing that from Rich. Like this is all trial and error. Like as far as things that you go through and you're experiencing or doing through consignment, because there's like you're creating a structure on its own through you or as an owner or like coworkers, and you're just like kind of spitballing it, and you're like, all right, this is working, let's go with this. All right, cool. And then you know, oh, this is not working, let's try this. And it's just like you're creating your own structure, your own method of doing things.
Yeah.
That's what consignment is. It's
Mhm.
like I always say it's like a type of conceptualized retailing
Mm-hmm.
that like you're reselling someone's items or you're buying something at a resale price and still reselling it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a different form of like retail shopping, but not really retail.
And I remember a lot of times when he would tell me, and I took in a lot of this shit that he was telling me, like on how like Rich would treat him and like how X, Y, and Z would treat him. And that's something I always took into consideration as being a boss and being like an owner, to never mistreat my employees. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I
You-
always,
Always looked out.
you know what I mean? I
this
always
day.
look out to this day. I just treat people with respect, bro. Pay these men on time. Granted, I might be a day or two late because I'm just dealing with so much shit sometimes. But you know what I mean? We're homies. We kind of know where to draw the line from business and friendship. But I have to do my part also as a businessman. Get the men, get these guys paid on time, and just not be on no fuck shit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like what he used to always tell me. I put that into myself, and I applied it into all of my guys. So all the guys will speak for themselves, bro. Like the type of person I am as a boss. I don't ever come in there and like disrespect people. Granted, if we might be busy as hell and like he might ask me a question, I might come off rude. Sometimes when it's very rarely, like, yo, I'll get to you right now, but it's just all in the moment. Or sometimes when I do feel like I even crossed the line a little bit, like I'll pull whoever to the side, like, yo, bro, like, my bad. I was just, I was really busy with a customer, but I'm always transparent. I always let the boys know what's going on with the business just because I feel like they have all right to know what's going on behind the scenes.
And it's always been genuine, bro. Like I mean, there's times like, yo, we're having a day, it's a long day, and then
Yeah.
it like you said, it may come off rudely, but we're just like we go through things and emotions, and like it's just like it's not a perfect day, you know. It's
Exactly.
not like it's
We
not
all have our days.
It's not Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. It's all
Yeah.
friendly and jolly, bro. Like
Yeah.
you know, we're guys. You know, we have emotions. We have things that we deal with, and it's one thing that he knows. Like there was a time too where I was kind of going through like a type of mild depression on my own during like I guess pandemic or after. And it was just like one of those things I felt comfortable where I kind of like broke down in front of my guys. And, you know, it was a lot going on. Like, you know, my pops has been missing for like quite some time to this day. And it's just like things like that, you know, I guess like the breaking into my home, people being in my privacy and my family's privacy, and a lot of things that kind of just took a toll. And him, or, you know, Carlos and the guys always being there, being transparent, being there for me, like holding it down, like, you know, being real, genuine, solid dudes, like friends. And when friends come in, they're there. And then when the business comes in, it's there. It's just like we know how to divide it, but at the same time, like it just goes back to like him always being respectful, him being like straight up. And then there's gonna be times where we're like, you know, we may butt heads, but at the end of the day, it's like, yo, bro, my bad. I didn't mean to mean like that. And it's just like, you know, I can talk to him, I can bring up something, and then I hope you know that too. You can always talk to him.
Oh, yeah, hell yeah.
And it's just like, it's just real genuine friendship. But at the same time, like when it's business, we're locked in.
Hell
Like,
yeah.
yo, let's dial this shit in, get the job done, and then like after hours, we can kick it if we want.
Exactly.
So it's always been like respect, cool. You know, it's friendship, but at the same time, it's love at the same time. And then when it's work, it's work.
Nice. And then we're almost out of time, guys. One more question I want to ask you is, what can we expect out of Chris? Like, you know, what's new, what's in the works, what you got going on? I know you're still working at Breakout. I know we can see you there, but is there anything you got, you know?
As far as like, I know I said it on the last episode, and I still kind of keeping it under the hood. I'm working on some things. I'm getting back in that to the creativity flow. Definitely start designing more.
I think you gotta start your own clothing brand.
Yeah, I mean, I want to. That's something too.
I can help you, man.
But I know it's one thing. He's always Carlos has told me like, yo, bro, I can start teaching what I know from designing or pointers, and it's something like, yo, I'm ready. Like, but it's just one of those things too where he tells me like, and you said it from a quote from another like YouTuber like, yo, you can give your homies like the breakdown or the plan, but you can't like,
yeah,
you know,
I can
do,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the wording is like, I can show you the game, but I can't run the game for you or the work for you. But as far as expecting, definitely getting back into design, my creativity flow. Definitely like as far as I guess you can say New Year's resolutions, like or like kind of
no, just you like as in like
what can we expect?
Yeah,
from
like
Chris?
what are some things that you're trying to accomplish as in not New Year's resolution, but like
for myself,
yeah,
whole designing thing, like freelance work or like start designing for other companies and possibly my own, and then I want to get back into like an art form, like I was talking about earlier, like maybe even ceramics or maybe like clay work.
Okay.
Or I've always thought about maybe doing jewelry or like craft, like something with working with metals or concrete or different type of like
fucking metal dick
yeah.
pump.
you gonna start welding.
Welding. Nah, I mean I definitely want to catch like I always tell myself like not a, in a way a side hustle, but learn something new.
Yeah.
Like let's say like I like before work, going to work, like I just start learning plumbing. I don't know, as an example.
Yeah.
Like just have something else than besides like a shoe knowledge.
Yeah.
I would say, or like retail knowledge. Like I definitely want to grow myself out more, and definitely expect to do that this year. And then just also one thing, just stay positive, keep a positive mindset, like an energized like mindset. Definitely I want to get back into like working out, being more like a healthier me.
Mm-hmm.
Like at one point I remember I was doing a lot of juicing or a lot of clean eating, just things like that. Just things that
better
make
yourself.
Yeah, better myself, that make me happy. Yeah, just maybe more like freelance work, maybe more creativity, more happiness, more joy in life, gaining more knowledge, just being just real genuine cool dude, but at the same time like learning as I'm going,
of course,
and experiencing things, and you know,
It seems like you want to better yourself as a person, clear your mind, clear your body, and see kind of like where that
goes,
where that leads into, and obviously still touch on the whole art form and
yeah, definitely art. Like I told myself this year I want to go to more museums, maybe like with actual artists, like or friends that are into the art scene, like
yeah,
my homie Marwan, he's big into the art, so we just went to an art show this year or last year, so something like that, just get back more into like the creativity flow, the art, music, and just things that are within that broad
the boundary,
the boundaries and all that.
Oh yeah, bro. Well, shit.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you know what I mean. You get.
I didn't think this episode was gonna be this long, but for those that do tune in and watch it, thank you guys. You know, get to hear a little bit about me.
you guys learned about little Chris.
Lil Chris. Catch me on Call of Duty Acapulco _ Jones.
Yes, sir. We gotta get that done.
Yeah, I need my first dub still, but thank you guys for tuning in. For those that do watch it, and yeah, thanks for the questions, and to the team, thank you guys.
Don't forget to like, subscribe,
yes,
comment. Please hit comment. Let us know what you guys want to know. Let us know if there's
Matt's next, so we want to know what.
We'll get to me eventually. We have some guests lined up for you guys.
Definitely.
But we'll eventually do my episode as well, and we're also gonna get to Rob as well. He's a filmmaker behind this. He's the editor, the producer. He's a whole show.
El Chapo.
Yeah.
Too.
Yes. He's a boxer.
Yes.
He's a pusher.
He's a trapper.
At one point. But no, for real. Thank you guys.
Thank you guys. Have a good
See you
one.
guys on the next one.
Peace.
Take care. Bye.